Okay, and all right. Woo! All right, time for another unedited notes. This is one that I asked you guys to tell me about. So again, this is going to be a completely unedited video. It's just me rambling on. And this time we're talking about Tales of, I always want to say it's Tales of a Topographic Ocean, but it's Tales from Topographic Ocean. And I asked which was your favorite song, because there's only really 4 songs on them, and each song is kind of the big epic, right? Like each side is a different song. So yeah, they really push the boundaries with this one. It's one of my favorite Yes releases, even though I know a lot of people aren't a big fan of it, and I understand why. But I reached out to you guys and I said, hey, which one is your favorite? And I got 30 votes on my Twitter, which was great. And as I do with all of these, if you want to follow me on Twitter and let me know of your own thoughts about this whenever I reach out, subscribe or follow or whatever. I left it down below. So yeah, you had 4 options. You had Revealing Science of God, The Remembering, The Ancient, and Ritual. And this is one of the first ones that I've done, because I've done a handful of these. This one is one of the first ones when I'm genuinely surprised of the results on here. I thought for sure that Ritual was going to win out, because that one, I mean, for me, it goes back and forth whether I like The Remembering or if I like Ritual more. I think Ritual is a stronger song overall, even though I think The Remembering has a much better payoff. Like, when I listen to Ritual, by the end, I am inconsolable. I am weeping when Steve Howe comes on with that guitar lick at the end. It's just so emotional as the journey that you've been on to this point, and this is the ending piece. It's such a well-deserved payoff. And Chris Squire's movement within the middle section, fantastic. And then we actually get to see the new drummer, Mr. White. He comes in. I can't, for some reason, the first name escapes me. John White, I think it is. It's probably not. I do remember that his name is White, though. Anyway, first time on drums, trying to replace Bill Bruford, and those are some big shoes to fill, because Bill Bruford is still my favorite drummer of all time. So he comes in with Ritual and just kind of shows his own stuff when they really go off the map and really experiment with that. And so yeah, I really, really, really love Ritual, and I love when they do it live. Like when they do it on Yes Songs, I think it is. Such a great rendition of this track. But The Remembering has that grand crescendo, and they keep coming back to it, and it's so happy and it's so bopping, and I love The Remembering. You have that crescendo that they, or at least the theme that they introduced right at the beginning, and then they kind of bring it back once or twice before the big finale piece of that. And that's what I really like. I like when they introduce a theme, wander away from it, come back to it in a different light, wander away from it again, and then at the end, they bring it back in its full flourishing. Really, really love these 2 pieces. So I wouldn't have been surprised if Ritual was, because I know people really love Ritual, and it's the one that they play live quite often. But honestly, I was surprised to see the Revealing Science of God winning out. So, looking at the stats, looking at what you guys said, Revealing Science of God got 57% of the overall 30 votes. And that was surprising to me. I was shocked to see how strong people thought Revealing Science of God was. And I do enjoy the song. It was my favorite of theirs for a long time, because it was the first track. It was probably the most accessible of all the tracks. They don't really do too much experimentation on it. They don't do too much wandering completely off the map as some of the other songs do. And it does, I don't know, for me, the main drawback that I have for the Revealing Science of God is that it doesn't really have a big payoff. It doesn't have a big crescendo. And in some respects, it doesn't really go anywhere. Now, that's fine, because where it does go, it follows the path that it lays out, and I guess the best metaphor is like, this is a really great walk through the meadows, or a really great walk through the gardens, where you know pretty much where things are going to be leading, you know pretty much where you're going to go, you know the sights, you know the sounds, and nothing really surprises you along the way. And it's very pleasant, like it's a very, very pleasant song. But, Remembering is more of like a hike up a mountain. Like, you can see where it's going, and again, there's not too many surprises, but you can see where it's going, and then once you get to the top, you turn around and you look at the vastness of it all, and you're just like in awe of it. Very similar to Ritual in that sense. Like, Ritual has that same kind of baskness, that same kind of journey, that same kind of looking around and basking in it all. But it does go off the map a little bit. So you take a wrong turn and you get lost for a little bit and you just don't quite know where you're going. And in that sense, there's a little bit more of a kind of like an excitement aspect of it. And so getting to that was the second highest one, but only at 23%. So not even a quarter of the votes in that sense. And then the Remembering actually took up the remaining votes with 20%. The Ancient got 0%, and I am not surprised at all with this. Yeah, I mean, even I will say the Ancient is the weakest track of the four. This is where you don't even have a map. You have no idea where they're going. There's no real consistency within this song. There's no real structure of this song. I feel like this is the song where they didn't even really know what to do. They just had this really interesting Steve Howe guitar work, like this like ballad thing with him and John at the end of the song, but they didn't really know where to put it on the album, so they're like, we'll just put it on the Ancient. And yeah, this track is just weird. Like, you're lost in the woods, you have no idea where you are, and it's not until the final like 5 or 6 minutes where you're actually found, and you're like, oh, okay, now I know where I am. I'm back in this garden, and it's more of a traditional song. So in that sense, yeah, I can kind of see that. I can understand, and I wasn't shocked at all that this one didn't get as many votes or any votes at all. And there were a few people that even mentioned this in the comments, saying that, well, some people were a little surprised that it wasn't getting any love because of that guitar work. But you have to remember, you have to build up to that guitar work, and some people don't want to have that build. So that I can understand. But yeah, shocked that Revealing Science of God got 50%. I figured it was going to be either between Ritual and Revealing Science of God, and maybe even the Remembering a little bit, because I know I'm an outlier in loving that track. But yeah, shocked to see how high Revealing Science of God is. I mean, when I think about it, it kind of makes sense. I know that they did play it live for their Keys to Ascension, and they did a beautiful rendition of it on that live work. And I believe I did see it live when they played in 2003 or 2004 when I saw them. So yeah, I can understand that, but still, I was not prepared for that. So yeah, that's about it. That's what I wanted to talk about. This was mainly just to help me come for prepare for another one that I'm going to be asking, which is the best Yes epic, because Yes has so many epics, like Close to the Edge, Gates of Deryllium, or however you guys want me to pronounce it. I always pronounce it as Deryllium. They've got like the Mind Drive, That Is, and then all of Tales from Topographic Ocean. So yeah, I wanted a little bit of, okay, what can I cut from that? And I think I'll just put Revealing Science of God. So, because I think you're only allowed like 5 or 6 options. So anyway, that's about it. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, you guys are definitely the best. And until next time, notes out. Oh, right.